I truly enjoy working with dogs. I think sometimes I get along and understand dogs better than I do people.
What's happened with electronics, and particularly Innotek collar, is low-level stimulation and variable intensity levels.
When you see them give their all to you, you learn great respect for them.
And I think the reason that you get so much back from the training is because what you have done yourself, that's showing your accomplishments, and Innotek makes it easier for the individual to train his own dog, where before you'd have to have 2 or 3 people helping you.
It's the safest, most reliable way to train.
It's by far the most versatile system on the market today because you can do everything with one transmitter.
I'm Ken Martin. Things have certainly changed since I've started training pointers over 40 years ago. Thanks to training collars, dogs learn faster, understand more clearly what's being asked of them, and when handled properly, a training collar is the most humane, sensitive, and smart way to train. During my 35 years of competing in and judging field trials and as former president of the American Kennel Club, I guess I've seen it all when it comes to dogs and dog training. No one has done more for the world of training dogs than Innotek. You've already made a great choice by buying an Innotek product. Now this is a chance for you to hear from 3 of the top trainers in the country about their approaches to training with Innotek collars and accessories. Call it introduction by the experts. Meet John Riggle, Rick and Ronnie Smith, and George Hickox.
Heyman, back. Good, heel. Good, heel. Sit, drop.
For over 25 years, John Riggle has trained retrievers for hunting and hunt tests.
Here, good. Heel, good. Drop. One more. It's really ironic. I got started training dogs in my first lab in 1975, and I was just amazed at what you could accomplish with a dog with just a little bit of work. And at that particular point, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. One of the things that people don't understand so much about retrievers is they assume that the dog already knows what we expect of them, that they understand the command fetch, they understand the command hold, heel. All these things have to be taught to this dog. Hold, good dog. Hold, good boy. Hold, that's it, good. No, hold, good. It's just the love, what they'll give back to you and what you accomplish with them. Good boy, here. Good boy, fetch it up, come on. Good boy, heel, okay. Heel, come on, heel. If we have a dog that liked to retrieve something, good, drop. And he would make some basic short retrieves, and we can do this while we're doing the force fetch or the trained retrieve. Good boy, heel, good, here, heel, sit, good, drop. But he doesn't, you can see he doesn't know what hold means. And he doesn't, when he gets it, he really would like to run off with it. Here, hup, fetch. See, this is why you're doing the train, while we're doing the trained retrieve. He really doesn't have any idea what to do with it once he gets it in his mouth. It's really funny. People will have more pictures of their dogs than they might their own children, you know. And I think the reason that you get so much back from the training is because what you have done yourself, that's showing your accomplishments. I mean, yeah, the dog is doing something, but since you train the dog yourself, then you feel a lot better about it. You know, so that people will fight you over if you say their dog is no good. They'll fight you over that because you're actually insulting them because it's their efforts that have made this dog whatever the dog is. You can see that we have the collar on the dog now, the training collar. It is an RR5000. It's developed almost exclusively for Ducks Unlimited. I like this particular unit because of the size of the collar itself. It weighs hardly anything, and the transmitter is small, which makes it nice. And in this particular model, we can handle up to 3 dogs if we wanted to. So I really like this model. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to double check our fetching before we use the training collar on this dog. We want to make sure that this dog understands the command fetch before we start putting pressure on him to stimulate the dog to the training bumper. All right, heel. Fetch. Heel. I got involved with Innotek, it's been a few years ago, but I was looking for some training equipment that would fulfill my needs. And most of the people have, the needs that they have when you're training a dog is you have to have help to do a lot of these things. And Innotek is, with their launching equipment and this kind of thing, makes it easier for the individual to train his own dog, where before you'd have to have 2 or 3 people helping you. As far as the level of stimulation, it depends on the dog. We'll have to feel the dog out, okay? We really don't want to use a real high stimulation here. This is to nick the dog to the pile. Okay, we ready? Back, back. Heel, good, good. Heel, sit, drop, back, back. Good, good, heel. Now he's trying to beat the stimulation, and that's why he's speeding up like he is. Back, back. Okay, good dog. All right, good dog. Here. When something doesn't work for us properly, it's because we become, maybe we're frustrated because we either don't have the tools to do it or something happened. But having Innotek products, and I'm fortunate enough to have just about everything that they make, that as I get into a particular situation and I might need help in the field, then I just go get that particular product and set it up and get rocking and rolling with it. It's helped me a lot, and it's helped a lot of other people that I know. Good. Some of the ways that I would describe a good retriever would be, you know, a dog that's intense on what he's doing. He's birdy. Of course, you know, you could describe how fast they go all the time. Some of them are like bullets, you know. Throw gravel in your face when they take off. We've heard that description a lot of times. I mean, that's very pleasing to the eye.
Like John says, training can be kept simple and affordable with Innotek's Ducks Unlimited series. But let's say you need to work a couple of dogs at the same time, like in a pointing dog scenario. Well, for 3 generations, one name has stood out in the pointing dog training world: the Smith family. Meet Rick and Ronnie Smith, who often work as a team. For them, the Command Series 2 Professional is the answer.
You know, when I was young, I thought it was pretty crummy growing up in a family of dog trainers. As I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate that. What a great deal, what a great gift. I've got a cousin, Ronnie, my father, Delmar. Tom's my brother. We have all trained with Innotek.
Rick, I've got a bird planted up here.
Okay, great. If you get on point, just let me know so I can get it back. I want it back.
What I think the keys to good dog training is proper association. I think, you know, if you can't associate to a dog what it is that you want him to do, then you'll not be successful. So the more controlled environment that you work in, the less mistakes that you'll make, and to have a plan, a very structured step system of training. Before we introduce the e-collar, we make certain that our dog is heeling on a loose lead and has a full understanding of what it is that we're asking of this dog, and that is to walk beside us.
They start with a short, stiff leash they call the Wonder Lead, the closest and most controlled environment. The goal, to teach the pup who's in charge and to establish what they call a point of contact, a place on the dog's body through which they'll always communicate, first by cord and then eventually by collar.
What we're doing here is introducing the e-collar to this dog. We still have a rope on her, so if we cue her, we can help her be successful. We're just chaining a mechanical cue to a remote cue.
The next step moves the dog out further, again in a controlled environment. A lot of training happens within a 20-foot radius on a check cord.
I'm keying her with my check cord to go with me. Once she fully understands that, anticipating me keying her, and this may take whatever amount of time it takes, that's what it takes. I'm going to overlay it with the collar. This next time, I will key her with the collar. When I'm check cording her, and I cue her to go with me, she knows what to do. Now, instead of cueing her here, I'm going to cue her here. It's not that electricity is going to make her do it. It's that she knows what this point of contact means, and she knows what to do when I cue her. I'll cue her here.
Just as their basic training was about gradually adding building blocks, it works the same way with the electronic stimulation collars. The key to moving forward from here is about reading your dog, something the Smiths do well.
Innotek, when they came along with the total system of being able to work real low stimulation, the variable intensity at your fingertips, the auto launchers, the auto backers, the whole system, their track and train collar, all worked on one transmitter. It's enabled one person to be able to do it all by himself. Not only as one person with one dog, but also trainers that are trying to work several dogs. We're able to do it in a lot more friendlier way.
What I think some of the qualities are that make a great dog is a dog that has tremendous desire, because that's the one thing that we can't teach, is desire. That's inherent. We can do things to enhance it, but we can't teach it. So I have a lot of respect for those dogs that have that level of desire.
When you become consistent in your training, your dog's going to become consistent. But we have building blocks. We're going to accomplish one thing, get that conquered, get the dog relaxed and accepting it, then go to the next step. When you go to the next step, they already act like they've already been there because they're in compliance. It's all about compliance. The trainer, the owner, has to be the pack leader. It is a lot harder. This is what I feel. I believe it with all my heart. You have got to respect a dog to get 100% out of a dog. When you love a dog and you allow them to do their own thing, they will never develop to 100%. The other important command we want to overlay is the here command. I'm going to cue her on the neck. She's to come to me. This time I'm going to cue her with the collar instead of the rope. Number one, help her with the rope. As soon as she responds and complies, I let off. We'll do it again.
Take your time. Only when your pup understands what's being asked without stimulation are you ready to use the collar. The most important thing about adding the collar as a training tool is to make sure that your dog associates the light stimulation with what you're asking him or her to do. Flushing dogs have a different set of needs from retrievers and pointers. Somebody who knows that well is George Hickox. George is a trainer and guide who works with flushing and pointing dogs. We've asked him to show us his approach to training labs to be steady to the flush.
I got my first bird dog when I was 5 years of age. When I was 5, I thought he was the best dog in the world, and he probably was. He was the best dog in the world for me, but he wasn't the best trained dog. Over the years working with dogs, I've learned more about them. I've learned more about myself. Okay, the trust, the fun that you get out there, it's just a great outlet. It's the best R&R in the world.
And a pup. A boy, what a good boy you are. Give. And a boy, let's go. Come on, buddy.
I'm a straight 100% electronic collar trainer. I train my pointing dogs to whoa, to back, to retrieve. I teach my flushing breeds to sit on the flush, be steady to wing and shot, all with electronics. And I believe my dogs are happy and look like they enjoy their job. What Innotek has done, because of the variable intensity levels, the low levels of stimulation, I'm able to create a bold and confident dog who responds to the command the first time I say it. Let's find out where the good Lord put you on earth, huh? Let's be a bird dog. Oh, boy, the best way, and really the only way to make a dog bold and confident is to give it lots of birds early on. There's no control there, there's no correction, it's just fun time. Boy, I love birds, you want to be a junkie. Birds is everything. So you can't give that young dog too many birds. Where'd it go, huh? Ah, boy. Atta boy. Once your dog is really birdie, aggressively chasing, that's the time to introduce the gun, not before. After I get my gun introduced, I'm going to go to formal training. That's where I start my collar conditioning. I'll work on retrieving later that he brings it right to me, holds it by hand, and looks like a pro. I think a good trainer is someone who understands a dog, that instead of just looking at the dog and saying, oh, I see this thing with 4 legs and his name is Spot, he looks at him and he says, this is a creature who's place-oriented. This is a creature who learns by association. He needs to understand why he's being corrected if he's corrected. And I think a good trainer understands all that, and I think he's consistent. He or she is consistent. They do their repetitions consistently. They don't say here sometimes and come other times, or hurry up, I'm late, let's go, I'm late for dinner. They say here. So I think the great trainers are the ones who've been consistent and are patient and don't set goals to say, by next Tuesday, I'm going to have this done. They mold the dog instead of making the dog. Train a dog into a world-class bragging rights gun dog, like we've just seen. One who hunts in control, stays to wing and shot, finds birds, and looks good doing it. We start with a puppy. We got 2 places. We've got the field work, which is introducing him to birds and introducing him to gun. At the same time that's going on, we've started our basic obedience. We start with what's called show pup. In show pup, we're simply teaching the dog what the command means. You're a teacher, not a harsh disciplinarian. There's a rule that applies to all of training. You can never correct the dog if he does not know why he's being corrected. So in show pup, we're just going to repeat the word kennel, kennel, kennel over and over again for a couple months until he's ready for his formal training, his basic obedience work, and collar conditioning. Atta boy. Kennel, 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 kennel. Atta boy. And always put lots and lots of praise on him. Let him know you're happy with him. He's your buddy and doing a good job. After we've done lots of show pups, the dog's gotten older, is bold and confident because of all the birds it's chased in the field, we're ready to begin our formal collar conditioning. The first thing I must do is I got to find the level the dog first feels. There's a lot of perception that you're shocking your dog, you're hurting your dog. When I turn this on, that light goes red. I can't feel that on my fingers, but it's enough to teach my dog to go into the kennel. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the stimulation on, and then I'm going to send the dog into the kennel with the word kennel. Eventually, when the stimulation comes on, the dog will go in the kennel on stimulation alone. At that point, I've taught the dog to turn stimulation off himself. Once the dog has learned to turn stimulation off himself, it's much easier for the dog to learn to avoid it. So here, once the show pups have been done, I'd put the stimulation on first, kennel. When he goes into the kennel, the stimulation turns off. This is going to become a safe zone, and we're going to apply that whole concept of a safe zone throughout all of our training. Eventually, and this dog has been done, so I'm just showing you where it goes to, when I put the stimulation on, the dog goes in the kennel without me saying kennel. That tells me it knows how to turn the stimulations off. From there, I'm able to get to no stimulation, where the dog responds to my command the first time I say it. Kennel. Once the dog is doing that, I would remove my check cord to prove to myself the dog was in control and had learned that command. Kennel. Don't forget to let your dog know that it's done well.
That a girl, Dinah.
You're a sweetheart. What's happened with electronics, okay, and particularly Innotek collars, is low-level stimulation and variable intensity levels so that you can use a collar around a dog and make him bold, make him confident. You can use it on birds. You have to train properly with it, but heck, you got to train with any method properly. And electronics makes it easier for the dog to learn, so it's the safest, most reliable way to train. Good girl. All right, I love it when a plan comes together. Now, with this transmitter, I can run accessories off of it. In that case, I ran the bird launcher off of it, did not apply stimulation because she was good. She did a great job. Had she moved, I could apply the stimulation with this transmitter, put her back up, and still be able to run accessories and launchers.
We've only touched the surface of what can be done with Innotek products, and there are other new Innotek items available like the RD400 tracking system that comes with 2 collars, a tree switch, and operates simultaneously on 4 frequencies. There are other items like the beeper or beeper trainer collars and more. I hope you've gained an appreciation of how far you can go in your training using Innotek products. I'm pleased to tell you how much I believe Innotek can help and how it's helped me over the years with my dog. In a world where so much is changing so quickly, there are some things that remain constant. The willingness, strength, perseverance, and dignity of well-trained dogs, and Innotek lets them shine.